when I heard that they were doing another Planet of the Apes, I was like, oh, really, another one? But when I found out you guys were doing it, the same people that did The Relic, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to see this movie.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, because The Relic has, if it came out today, it's still at, like, top, like, most of the sci-fi movies that come out. Because, I mean, that movie, you can pop that in any time, and it's still a great movie to see.
Well, thanks.
Thank
That
you.
means a lot to us, yeah.
Now, you guys were the ones who originally pitched the idea of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, correct?
Yes. It was Rick's idea, and he had been cutting out, like, magazine articles about chimps being raised in homes and how it's kind of an inappropriate place to raise them, and how eventually when the chimps become, like, teenagers, they get aggressive, end up, like, being put in these horrible shelters and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And he thought, you know what, there's a great movie in there, like a thriller, some sort of movie in there. And then he realized, like a light bulb went off, and he said, oh my God, this is a great way to reboot Planet of the Apes. It's like, and so we went to Fox and pitched the idea to them, and to our, like, delight and shock, they weren't already developing a movie to reboot their franchise. So they hired us and we wrote it. That's how it started.
Is that what makes this film different from all the other Planet of the Apes? Is the message of the animal rights and everything, animal testing?
Well, that's a part of it. We didn't set out to make an animal rights movie, but while we were writing it, we knew that if it were to get made, that the animal rights and animal lovers and so forth would really dig the message. But that wasn't our original intent. But in terms of the original series and so forth, we felt all along we had the same theme that the first movie had, meaning that man's hubris can become his downfall, and if man plays God, it will come back to haunt him. And so, because our feeling about the original movie was that it was man's hubris that got Colonel Taylor on that beach at the very end of it, and we had the same theme, even though it's from a different source.
But our movie starts in present day. So it's like, what would happen? What would have to happen today? 2011.
Right.
For like the dominoes to stack up just so, and events to happen in such a way that the apes would take over.
Yeah, like what could really happen? So we tried to tell it in a very realistic way. Like what could really happen with stuff that's really happening in our world today. That if the right things were to connect, then the apes could end up taking over.
But do all the Planet of the Apes, the other movies, they all take place in the future,
they
right?
All do.
So this is those.
Well, no, that's not true. There's one where they come back, Escape from Planet of the Apes.
Oh, they time travel back.
Yeah, but then that's short.
Okay, I have to ask you guys, because it seems like in every single one of them, there's like a really big shocker at the end of the movies. So is it going to be the same thing with this one as well?
Well, we made a very conscious decision not to compete with the Statue of Liberty. That's like probably like one of the top, if not the top, great movie shockers, of all time. And so we thought, well, let's not try to do that. Let's not try to beat that. It does end in a way with kind of a twist and explanation at the same time. Early on in the development, it was more like the whole movie's kind of building out to that twist. But over time, as the script changed and morphed, that became less of an important element. So no, I wished it would be great if we did, but we've made a conscious decision not to try to compete with that.
Okay, cool. Now, do you think that this film will please all the old Planet of the Apes fans and also bring in a lot of new ones?
Oh my gosh, you said that so well. That's exactly what we want. It's really funny because
just put quotes around the question.
Yeah, no, you actually got it like 100% right, because we did want this movie to be like, and we showed it to our nephew last night at the premiere, and he hasn't seen any of the other ones.
He's 9.
Wow.
He's 9.
Okay.
He loved it, like as a fan, as a brand new fan, and now he wants to see the other movies. So he knew nothing about Planet of the Apes, and he could 100% enjoy the movie. But if you do know Planet of the Apes, there's definitely, a lot of respect paid to the mythology of the originals, and we wanted this one to fit in. And also there are these things we call Easter eggs, which are like little presents to the fans.
Oh, I love that.
In the movie that you can find that like are inside jokes, kind of.
Yeah, when you really know them, you go, oh my God. A lot of them are really obvious, character names and stuff. And then some of them are really, really obscure that, I don't know if anyone's ever going to actually figure out because they're so, they're so obscure. But last night at the premiere, we had, like I said, our nephew, but also some grown-ups came up to us and said, look, I have to admit, I never saw any of the Planet of the Apes films, and now I want to go back and watch. So,
wow.
So we basically took one bit of mythology of the Planet of the Apes movies, and I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Okay.
Kind of incident and explanation, and we pulled that out of one of the movies, and then crafted the story around that moment. So if you are a big fan and you know that stuff, then you go, oh my God, that's where that came from.
Well, now I'm like 10 times way more excited to see this movie.
Good.
Okay, I have to ask you guys, because I love it that you guys are a married couple and you have the same career. I think that's so awesome. How did you guys meet?
Oh, that's a good question. I moved out here when I was a secretary at TriStar Pictures a long time ago, and Rick was an agent at William Morris, and we just met at a
party. I had lived out here already for a while.
Oh, okay.
And it was her first night out here, and we ended up at the same party. We met at that party.
Oh, that's so cute. The first night she's out here?
What's that?
You said the first night she was out there?
Yeah,
the first night I moved out here.
As soon as I saw her, I moved in as fast as I could. It was going to be a very short window of opportunity. But so yeah, I saw her across the way and zeroed in, and we've been together ever since.
That is too cute. That's a movie in itself.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be kind of boring. But thanks, yeah.
Now, Amanda, your grandfather was also a famous screenwriter and, wrote, like, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and things like that. Were you inspired by him to get involved in the industry?
I was very inspired, but also very intimidated. And I went to USC Film School as a director, thinking I wanted to be a director. And then once I got into film school, it had such a strong writing program. I thought I'd try it out, but I was a little scared, a little intimidated by the legacy, and by the thought of writing screenplays. So I really credit USC with helping me overcome that.
But you were close to your grandfather.
I was close to my grandfather, and he was a bit of a cautionary tale too, because when he left Hollywood, he had been blacklisted in 1952, and so I always wondered, would he be happy that I was moving back out here and trying to be a screenwriter, or would he warn me about it? He was no longer alive when I started writing, so. But he was definitely a great inspiration. I mean, his words and he had a very strong moral compass, and all of his movies came from a place of passion.
I think the other thing about Sydney, if I can jump in, is that part of the when you talk to some of the older screenwriters or some of the elder statesmen of the Writers Guild, and they know a lot about the writers in the past. When they talk about Sidney Buckman, they talk about how great he is with structure, and that structurally he'd be brought into projects to fix them and so forth. And when people ask us, like how do you guys work together, and we always say, well, we complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. I'm stronger in one and she's stronger in the other and stuff. But what's fascinating to me is one of Amanda's great strengths as a writer is also structure. And I just want, I don't know if that's just a genetic thing passed down, or maybe she just paid more attention to it in her studies and so Disney was great in structure, and I think Amanda's great with structure also.
Yeah, I have to say, Hand the Rocks the Cradle, I don't think I'll ever have a nanny for when I ever have kids. I've seen that movie. That was brilliant. Brilliant writing. I also have to ask you guys, what preparation for getting into the industry?
Well, I moved out here not really sure what I was going to do with my life, you know, and I tried different things. I went to business school. Like Amanda said, I was at William Morris. I'd started in the mailroom, and it actually was representing writers, you know, for a while as an agent. But the truth is that just growing up, you know, I just loved movies, and I grew up in the country on a farm, and so I had a lot of time by myself as a kid, and you know, with makeup stories and stuff, and just spent, you know, a lot of my time with my head, you know, either in sports or in movies, and I was never going to be big enough to quarterback for the Cowboys, so you know, I thought I would try movies. So, but I don't know. I just always knew that I wanted to try to write. You know, I wrote a lot in college too. So at some point, the truth is, it was really Amanda who encouraged me at the time as an agent to really pursue my passion. So that led to me writing my first script.
But you guys are too cute. That is too cute. So what advice would you guys give to other people who are striving to go into the business? Like, because I'm from Michigan. I know there are a lot of people out here right now that's really trying to get into the movie industry as well.
My advice, though, is really corny, so you have to forgive me.
Okay.
But I really believe that everybody has a story or many stories to tell. And to stick to what you're interested in and and to your passion, and don't try to fit into what you think people want. So that's my advice. You know, write from your heart.
I guess I would say just, you know, be prepared for a lot of really hard work. Be organized about whatever your plan is, you know.
And never give up.
Plan your work your plan, and never give up. And I think one of the hardest things to learn is to not take no for an answer, because it's so easy for people out here to say no. And, you know, everyone on any level, you know, from, you know, the head of a studio down to an assistant or someone in the mailroom, people are always trying to get them to read their script or help them do a favor and so forth. And it's just, you know, people say no. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. But you just have to keep at it. You know, not give up and keep at it. But it's you know, it takes a lot of dedication and planning and studying and watching movies, or if you want to, depending on what you want to do, whether it's writing or directing or acting or producing or whatever, just read as much as you can, you know, study as much as you can, and work really hard at it.
Cool. Now I have to ask, are you guys already planning a sequel to Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Well, we would love to do a sequel, and I think everyone's hoping that there's a sequel. I think that at this point there haven't been any discussions, because I think everyone's afraid to jinx, you know, what the movie will do. So I think ultimately it will depend on if the public really responds to this, you know, new way of telling the story. And if they do, then I'm sure there will be a sequel, and we would love it. You know, we've got lots of thoughts and ideas, specific ideas about what that would be. But I think everyone's kind of holding off talking about it until we see how the movie does.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you guys for taking this opportunity out to let me speak to you guys and ask you guys questions. Is there anything that you guys would like to say to anybody out there who's hesitant to see another Planet of the Apes movie?
Yes. I'm really glad you asked that. The movie's not what you think. It's a surprise. And it's a fresh way to approach a great legacy. And so I would encourage people to check it out.
And it's a great ride. It's got lots of action and fun, but it's also a very tender, emotional story.
Yeah, very emotional. I mean, people were in the premiere last night. A lot of people were very, very moved. but it's also very, very exciting.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. You've been such a good interviewer.
Thank you. Well, I hope everything goes great for you guys, and I hope you guys do plan a sequel. We'll be able to do a sequel, because,
Thank you very much.
yeah, and if the Relic 2 ever comes out, make sure.
You're there.
Okay.
We'll make sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay.
Goodbye.